Right, are we good? Are we live? I think we are. Hello all and welcome back to the Women's Football Chat Live. We're continuing into the second stream of this WSL Sunday triple header. And we move in to Arsenal versus Brighton. This is a game that's thrown up a few surprises over the years, and with Arsenal in a patch of poor form, with Brighton being a side that we know can take advantage of some of the top teams, this should be a really interesting clash. Harry, looking forward to it.
Yeah, very much so. I think it's a massive game for both these sides. A mid-table clash at this point in the season. No one saw that coming. But yeah, Arsenal winless in their last four in all competitions. You feel that this is a massive match for the Gunners at home, back at the Emirates. And I feel that without 3 points today, they could find themselves in a very difficult position this season. And it's a Brighton side that will not go down without a fight. They are, as you say, they've caused some massive problems for some of the best teams in this league. They beat Arsenal towards the end of last season. They are a very, very good side, and they will make it as difficult as possible for Arsenal to win this game. We know they're going to try and frustrate the Gunners, press high, and turn that ball over high at the pitch. But yeah, it's going to be a really good battle. I'm intrigued to see what kind of level of performance we get from both sides, because that will be the main determiner, is what version of these two teams turns up. We get Arsenal on their day against Brighton, who are off it, then Arsenal are going to look pretty confident and dominating. But if we get an Arsenal who are off it and a Brighton who are hot on their heels, then it's going to be a really close encounter. So it's going to be a really good game, and it's a very hard one to call, because I think there's an argument that this really could go to either side.
Yeah, absolutely. Arsenal go into this game, though, after this morning's fixture, 6th in the league. London City ahead of them. Now, granted, Arsenal have played one less game, of course, because they play now. But is that... Because they met in the first game week, Arsenal dominated London City in that game. The fact that even with a game in hand, they are behind them, it just... The fact that they're that close just feels disappointing, I think, from an Arsenal perspective.
Yeah, it's a massive concern, especially because if Arsenal do lose today, then suddenly they're 7th in the WSL, and that is,
Well, they'll be close to... I know Villa have played only 5... Oh, yeah, I thought they were playing next day. They have already played. So.
Yes, they'd finish. They'd end up dropping to 7th. So yeah, this is a massive game, but it has not been the start of the season that Arsenal would have wanted to see. They've just dropped too many points in too many games, and that just coincides. Obviously, London City seem to have, since that loss to Arsenal, been picking up points pretty steadily and put together a run of a couple of wins. So yeah, it's big for London City, but yeah, for Arsenal, it's another team they're behind. They do not want to fall out of the top half today, because at that point there is pressure on Arsenal, there is pressure on Slagers, because it doesn't matter what you did last season, it doesn't matter who you are. If you are Arsenal and you're 7th in the WSL after 6 games, and you are banging trouble. So it's got to the point for Arsenal where I think we have to say it's a bit of a must-win for Arsenal and Slagers. Yeah. If they lose today, then they are banging trouble. So yeah, I think it's a crucial game that they have to take the 3 points in for me.
Well, Tottenham lost this morning, and Arsenal still couldn't catch them, even with a win today. A win would go a long way. It would put them within a point of Tottenham, within a point of City, but City with that game later today put them 3 points off Manchester United. In which case, suddenly that starts to look bridgeable, that gap. But yeah, this is really important that Arsenal get a positive result today, rekindle the positive feeling around the club, and look to go forward with the season. We're at the Emirates then, so let's take a look first at the Arsenal 11. We'll start with the hosts. It is a 4-2-3-1 for Arsenal today, and very little changes from what we've seen so far this season. In goal, Daphne Van Donsselaar, despite shaky form, retains her starting place. In that four, it's Fox, Reed, Catley and McKay, the preferred back four throughout this season. In the pivot, it's Little alongside Mariona Caldente, with Marnham in the 10, and then Ford and Smith either side of Alessia Russo. So 4-2-3-1 today, very little changes. You'd expect, again, it's probably Smith on the right and Ford on the left. How can Slagers look at the first 5 WSL games and at the UWCL game and go, we don't need to change anything?
When managers are under pressure, or not under pressure, but when they're not getting results, they go two ways, and they go one of two ways, and they either double down and become really stubborn on the way they want to play, or they tinker so much that things get a bit messy. Slagers is the former. She just seems to have this love or this stubbornness to stick with what isn't working, and it just stuns me. How many more times can we look at this Arsenal side, point out the issues, and yet we get to another weekend and it's the same starting 11 playing again? The pivot doesn't work of Little Caldente. Cannot stress that enough. Look at what happened on against Lyon. Look what's happened this season. Losing the ball, turning it over. You can't afford to do that in these kind of matches. It costs you. You need to have a pivot that can keep hold of the ball, but keep it ticking over as well. Daphne van Domselaar starts again. That one's a bit more negotiable because she's a very, very good goalkeeper. But if you're gonna, if you want to reward form, then surely she shouldn't be starting. So again, that it's one you can toss up. So it's very, very interesting. Again, the winger combinations for me are probably not the correct ones. It's just the same issues. We can say it every single week, and Sagers just doesn't seem to. It doesn't seem to phase her at all. She just wants to stick with this same 11, and I just wonder how many more times we're going to see this same system with the same players, and it just continue to not work before Arsenal realise they have to change something.
Yeah, absolutely. As for the visitors, then the Seagulls switching back to a 3-4-3 today, possibly due to a lack of personnel. In goal, Vidosic has been a revelation in between the sticks, and she retains her starting berth. A back three of Hayes, Rule and Umpome, who in the summer switched South London for the South Coast, and it's her first start in the blue of Brighton. In the wing backs, it's McLaughlin and Marissa Olaslagers with a midfield pivot of Gankovic and Simmons, and a front three of Kirby, Seike and Carla Camacho. So it looks like a return potentially through the middle for either Kirby or Seike today. Noah Jamang obviously is loan tied. Same for Rosa Kafaji. So a few players missing for Brighton today. But overall, still a strong looking side.
Yeah, it's a good side. I think the big one is Franco back in the 11. An incredible player, has a brilliant record in the league, has a brilliant record against Arsenal. And to have her back is a big boost to Brighton because she has had a phenomenal campaign so far. I think that Brighton, as you say, a change of system through necessity, really, you think, but it'll be interesting to see how they do set up. But it's one of those where if they can look as defensively solid as they have done in most of their games this season, they've got the attacking firepower to cause Arsenal issues today. It does need to be a better performance from Brighton because they were really poor in the League Cup in the midweek. They weren't brilliant either last weekend, losing 1-0 to Tottenham. So I think a good performance and some points on the board is needed for the Seagulls. And then they can build from there. But yeah, it's been a bit hit and miss for Brighton this season. I think overall they've looked better. It's one of those where they've looked better than they did in the second half of last season, but they've probably looked worse than they did at the start of last season. So they're somewhere in the middle, which is probably about fair as to where they should be. But I think, last couple of games haven't been brilliant. I think they need a good performance today, even if they don't get the result. But as I said, it's got all on paper. It looks like it could really click.
Yeah, if we see the Brighton from sort of the back half of last campaign, which we appear to be seeing bits of and then a bit from the first half of last season, is that we saw the second half of the season, especially where Brighton just didn't really pick up results against teams around them, but they were really good against the teams above them in the table. They got a draw against Chelsea. They beat this Arsenal side, let's not forget, back in May. So this is the kind of game they can really take advantage of. They love playing this underdog football. They're able to be under pressure and break quickly. That front three today, if they are fluid, if they are dynamic, if they're able to break quickly, they will hurt Arsenal in transition today. Arsenal defending transitions has been really poor. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in that regard. Phil, welcome to the stream. Ryan says, so we're back in the Seagulls today then. Is that what I'm hearing? Ryan, we're completely neutral, but we'll see what happens. Taylor says, big up the panel in the chat. Thank you, Taylor. Welcome to the stream. But yeah, should be a really good game. Let's get into predictions then out of this one as the players start to make their way out of the tunnel. Here at the Emirates, it is Arsenal taking on Brighton. If you're watching along the live stream, get involved in the live chat. Give us your scoreline prediction. We can start here in the studio though, and as always, Harry, you can kick us off with predictions. What is your prediction for today's game?
It's a really tough question because I think the form favours Brighton slightly, but again, it's the Emirates, it's Arsenal, the quality they've got. We know that they can easily win these kind of games and put on a brilliant show. It's a really hard one to call. I'm going to favour the home side. I think the home crowd does make the difference and quality will prevail, but it is going to be a very, very tight encounter between these two. I am going to say Arsenal 1, Brighton 0. Arsenal just to edge it by a goal to 0 and keeping a clean sheet, which would be a big for them after the last couple of weeks. I will say it's going to be a wonder goal from Caldente. I think it's just going to be one of those games where they're not perfect, but they get the job done, and a wonder strike from Caldente is going to win the game. But it will be a 3 points that they desperately need, and that's the thing for Arsenal is that yes, performance is important today, but I think the result. Just getting the result will do to, against a good opposition like Brighton, get the 3 points and just get back up the table slightly, because if they drop points today, that would be massively disappointing. So yeah, I will say the Gunners to just edge what will be a very, very tight contest.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm going to say Arsenal 1, Brighton 2. I'm so close to it being a draw and a Brighton win. I just think Brighton are going to nick it today. I think Arsenal, they can't keep playing this same way and do nothing to change it. Maybe, as you say, someone will come up with a bit of magic. But if they play the way they have all season, they'll lose in the same way today as they have struggled in the last few weeks. I think confidence is going to be fairly low in the camp right now. I think for Brighton, they'll go into this game knowing there's nothing to lose. They seem to have that mentality and belief that they can beat teams like Arsenal. So I think they'll do it today. I think Brighton, they're underdog killers they're underdog winners. I was going to say killers, doesn't make any sense. But they're good at beating big teams. They're big team killers. That's what they're very effective at. So I think it'll be another good performance today. I also don't know why no one can seem to nail down this formation. Football thinks Pome's at left wing. BBC thinks McLaughlin's at right wing. Surely it's just a 3-back.
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe Vidosic has rolled the dice a little bit and stuck with system over personnel.
I think you're more likely to see Rule in central midfield, though, and push Kankovic on and use McLaughlin at right back still. I think that's the only way it's not a 3-back today, is if Rule's push on. But Rule's been used as centre-half all season. So it would be a bit of a surprise to see that change. But Phil going alive, be points dropped or a big win, and predicts 5-1. So points dropped then, 5-1 for Brighton. That's crazy, Phil. Can't believe you predicted that. But fair enough. It could be a big win for Arsenal. It depends. I just don't see them scoring 5. I really don't right now. Their attack has just been so static. I don't see them scoring 5 goals.
Yeah.
Even if they win today, I think it would be narrow.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it'll be tight. I think there'll be times where it is nervy, but I just think that someone like a Cowan and Tay will come up with something big for them.
Also didn't give any goal scorers. I think they'll all be Frank Kirby.
Fair enough.
2 goals and then an accidental own goal. There we go.
Why not? That's okay. Fair enough. All right. Yeah. Why not? Hey.
I think it's going to be a good game of football. But it should be interesting. Arsenal taking on Brighton in this one. A Brighton side who, as I say, have a reputation now of beating the big teams. Can they maintain that today? I think Brighton as well, as much as you say Arsenal need to get back to form, Brighton sort of need to get back to form. Last weekend was disappointing against Tottenham. The midweek, a loss to West Ham, who, as we saw today, have been terrible in the league.
Yeah.
I think Brighton will be really keen to get back to winning ways.
Yeah, both sides need to win. It's massive because you've got 2 incredibly good football teams who both really need to win right now. So that's it's great when you get 2 big teams in red hot form facing each other, but sometimes it's even better when both sides really need to win that bit more.
Yeah, it's going to be 0-0 4-4.
Exactly that. Well, not exactly that, but yeah.
Far from that.
Yeah, that's the
nailed on.
Yeah.
But it should be a good contest. They keep those predictions coming in the live chat at the moment. Phil, the only one brave enough to stick his head above the parapet and predict 5-1 for Arsenal. In terms of the polling chat, though, 74% expect Arsenal to win this game, 16% going for Brighton, 10% going for a draw. A lot more, though, back in the upset than perhaps you would imagine. Brighton to get us started, then Carlo Camacho from the middle, waiting for the referee's whistle in the Parma Violet purple kit that Brighton use as an away strip. And it will be Camacho from the middle. Duane welcome to the stream, going 4-2 Arsenal. We're underway here at the Emirates Stadium. It's Brighton taking on Arsenal here in North London. And immediately we can see Brighton are playing a 3-back. Enadozie lifts out towards the right-hand side. It'll try and bounce his way through to Kiko Seke. Seen out well, though, by Steph Catley. And Arsenal can look to progress down the left-hand side. Atulamont going 2-1 Arsenal. Ryan saying 3-2 Brighton. One hell of a game, Brighton. Ryzen, enjoy that. McCabe going down the line. Headed away by Pome and Seke trying to clear it, but it's out for another throw.
Today could really come down to individual errors. Both sides have, Brighton have shored up a little bit this season, but both sides have had a tendency to just make individual mistakes and get caught out by silly things. So, it's definitely something to consider.
And can Arsenal learn from Tottenham last weekend in the way that they beat Brighton?
Yeah, potentially. I think that...
Strange sentence to be saying, because last season you don't want to take anything from Tottenham. That's a poor pass there from Fox. Reed does well to recover it. And now Caldente back to Katie Reed.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about. Because if Reed doesn't recover that, suddenly Frank Kirby is bursting through.
Yeah. CV and Letter, welcome to the stream. Everyone asking about Adjumang. She is obviously not able to play this game, ineligible because she's on loan from Arsenal. So neither can Rosa Kafaji. Here come McCabe. Tries to come inside. Back now out wide to Ford, who's holding the width well. Looks to pick out Mano on the edge of the box. Back to Ford. Now Mariona Caldente. Into Little. Back to Caldente. Through the lines into Ford, who's going to try and make something happen. Back out wide to Caldente, and Pomme trying to stop her. Now McCabe. Can she find delivery into the box? Goes all the way back to Catley. As Arsenal continue to probe here. High up the pitch, but can they actually create a chance? So it's cut out there by Kankovic, and they'll look now to play. Kirby forced back to Pomme. Punted really into midfield where Camacho lies in wait. One back though by Little, who's under pressure there from the young Spaniard, and it's turned over, and here come Brighton down the left-hand side. The OL Lyonnes not matching my energy and going defensive instead. That is a ball in behind now though, and they'll look to try and hurt Arsenal here, but it's knocked home. Under pressure there from OL Lyonnes, but Arsenal are now looking to play out under that pressure. Fox. Straight to the feet of Russo, holds up well. Great defending though from Charlie's Rule, and it's one back in there by Helena Kankovic. Holds on to it despite pressure. And that is out for an Arsenal throw.
Yeah, positive start by Brighton. Arsenal there. Again, you watch a couple minutes and you just see where the problems lie. They got the ball out to McKay on the left-hand side. He went back to Catley, who had acres of space to put a ball into the box. And again, they just played it short and didn't do anything with it. And then they get the ball back to Kim Little, who got dispossessed, and suddenly it was Brighton who came forwards.
Yeah. Echo Bailey saying 5-0 Arsenal. Ryzen saying, want this to be my chaos game of the week? Well, there is going to be an upset now. It's either going to be Arsenal dropping points again or Gareth Taylor beating Man City. Either way, we're in for a real treat this afternoon. Arsenal back in possession. Reed. Now Fox. Well, I mean, both teams could win routine victories. It's very plausible.
Yeah.
Catley down the left-hand side into Ford. Wants to cut in. Now into Russo. Back to McCabe. Who can go into the channel for Russo again. Hayes will try and seal wide. Pass inside now to Caldente. Force back to McCabe. Now Caldente again. Little. Here's Steph Catley. McCabe. Catley. Lovely ball into the channel, but it's overhit. And that's out for a Brighton goal kick.
Again, it's good from Brighton. Really good from Brighton. They know that they can just be reserved, just sit here and make... we say it all the time. Make Arsenal play. Make them come out. Make them try and find a way through. Because then they've got to try and break you down rather than you just handing them space to use. And again there, just forcing it a little bit, Catley. Dinks it out for a goal kick.
Yeah, here is Hayes, who launches it forwards. Cut out there by Catley. Bounces around. And now Marnham picks it off. One back though by Simmons. Now Kankovic, lovely movement forwards. One back though by Little, who pirouettes well herself nicely. Now Caldente. Manages to find Ford. Mariona Caldente, can she create a chance? Ball across the box. Not a great delivery though. That'll bounce out for a goal kick. Hillshaw's brother says the loan embargo to play the parent club only hurts the players' development with the team they're currently playing for. It's a bad arrangement. Not really, because imagine Angie Mang was playing today. She's either going to score and then she's playing, she can't celebrate. It's awkward then when she goes back next season. There's so many problems with it. And if she doesn't score, then it's like, well, was she playing badly on purpose? Because she'll be back at Arsenal next season, presumably. She wants to play in the Champions League. She knows that if Arsenal lose today, that will benefit... if Arsenal win today, that will benefit her in the long run. So you do just create an awkward scenario. Here is Russo. And for Ford. Trying to create an opportunity. Now Caldente. Tries to cut it through the lines. It's one back by Seike. Now Kirby. And Brighton can look to break. No room though for Kirby, who's looking backwards. Ends up knocking it out of play.
Wrong decision that from Kirby. She kind of just ran away from everybody and then wondered why she didn't have any options left.
Yeah. Indeed. It just... Brighton are definitely having to adjust early on. It feels like they've got one less attacker every time they come forwards.
Yeah, it's quite passive from both sides, very tentative, which is exactly what we'd expect from what we were talking about. Two sides who really need a win. You don't want to give anything away in the early stages.
Yeah. Here is Seike. It does actually seem like it's a 4 for Brighton, and Pomey at right back, and then McLaughlin and Oleslagers are both on the same side, and it looks like they've just pushed Oleslagers on a bit. Just plays that left winger. Such a play here from Simmons, looking for Marissa Oleslagers. It's going to drop now for McLaughlin. I think might be actually right. Other way round, McLaughlin is the left winger. He receives it now. Kankovic trying to hold on to it in there. Ball around the corner from Little into Smith, who will be seen backwards into Fox. Now Reed. Yeah, this just feels like every other Arsenal game in terms of that tentativeness, that passiveness. Well, they've had 71% possession the first 7 minutes, but they haven't had a shot.
Yeah.
Well, I'm back there by Camacho, and now Brighton coming forwards. That is never a foul. Brighton turn it over, and it would have been hard at the pitch, and they would have had a counter-attack chance. But the ref has given a very soft free kick.
I think Kim Little can count herself a bit lucky there because she's been dispossessed once again.
Ball in behind, a chance now for Arsenal. Ford could cut it across the box. Great defending from Mpome. Gets between Fox and then, blocks the delivery, and it's out for a corner.
Yeah, well defended. Just followed the run of Ford better from Arsenal. 2 passes and suddenly they went from Caldente, who was practically playing at left back, to Ford running into the Brighton penalty area.
And it is now Caldente over this. And can she come up with a delivery here to her Brighton? It's delivered low, and they try and make something of it. It's going to drop for Smith now, and she fires over the routine. Probably didn't go exactly as planned, but it did almost find a route to goal.
Yeah, it wasn't a great ball in, but it just caused enough confusion for Brighton. I'm not sure which Brighton... Is it Seike who backs out of that? That's not good enough.
It was flicked on there by Ford. I don't think anyone was expecting it.
Yeah. Smith does the right thing. She runs onto it, just gets over it. Just needed to that's got to be hit hard and low, and you've got to drill it. Because you never know, you might get a deflection or something that just takes past the goalkeeper. But that's a let-off for Kiko Seike because she backed out of that one with Smith. And if that had found the back of the net, then I think her teammates would have been very frustrated with her.
Touchdown there by Marnham. She was fouled. Took a while to make that decision, Kirsty Dow. And that's out now for... Well, it's now a free kick.
Yeah, just a little bit late there from Mpome.
Hillshaw says, not a terrible take at all. The Champions League does not allow an embargo. Yeah, but the amount of clubs in the Champions League that loan players to each other is so much lower than in the league. Like, if a super club loans to another super club that's not even in the same country, the chance of them playing is at best 2 games a season in the Champions League. McCabe delivers it in there, almost catching Anadozi out off the crossbar. Chance here for Russo, and she can't quite convert it. Now Caldente to Ford, should score. Big stop from Anadozi. And that's a corner now for Arsenal. But what a moment of confusion.
Really, it's just bizarre. McCabe swings the ball in, gets it wrong, ends up on goal. It's a brilliant save from Anadozi to tip it onto the crossbar. Brighton can't deal with it.
It's such a poor cross, it just causes confusion.
Yeah. And Arsenal did well. It's a good moment. They got some good opportunities from it.
Caldente in now to a dangerous area, headed on well by Charlie's Rule. And now Camacho wants to break away, but her touch is too heavy, and that takes it out of play.
Brighton just need to calm down a little bit. It's just been the defending, and every time they get on the ball, just seems to be very rushed.
Yeah.
There, Camacho, she's taken a first touch about 10-15 yards to try and knock it past Emily Fox.
That's a great pass from McKay through the lines into Marnham. Now Smith tries to cut it back to Marnham, does find Frida Marnham, who tries to take aim. The clutch of Ronnie's Ford tries to turn it goalwards. Enadozi manages to get in there and claim the ball in a congested area.
Better from Arsenal, starting to actually, they're starting to put pressure onto the Brighton penalty area. Good football from Smith. Marnham does well. That's what I mean. You've just got to shoot, and then look what happens. Gets a deflection, and Ford nearly gets on the end of it to poke it home. That is why sometimes in football, right, you can do his pretty passing, but if you get the opportunity, you've got to put it in the box or get a shot away.
I do agree to an extent. I think one of Arsenal's problems this season has been, though, that they keep shooting from poor areas rather than creating chances in good areas. I get what you're saying. They, sometimes I think Arsenal overplay wanting to create the perfect chance, and the problem this season has just been they've been hitting it from miles out. They've been even in this game so far, they've had
poor from Karen.
They've had 4 shots, yet it has a combined 0.1 xG.
Yeah.
So yeah, they've had shots away. They've tested the goalkeeper on 2 occasions already, but were they ever going to go in? Fox there trying to force her way through. And now it's a Brighton throw on the far side. OL Lyonnes. Looking for a forward option. And that's cut out there by Fox. Little. Fox. Tries to play down the line, and Smith is straight at Smith's chest. Not sure what she could have done with that one. She can't quite keep it in play. And now it's OL Lyonnes. Camacho. OL Lyonnes down the line to McLaughlin. That's a great back heel to take 2 players for Arsenal out of the game. The pass then is poor. And the combination doesn't quite work out. But Reed is under pressure and she loses out to Kankovic. There's a nice bit of footwork, but she can't quite pick out a teammate. Russo now tries to turn. Knocked out of play, apparently, off of rule. Not sure how.
So a couple of those, just physics would say that wasn't possible.
The rule couldn't have possibly got around Russo there from the position she was at, but there we go. Down the line to Caldente under pressure. And there, Caitlin Ford brings it down well. Now Little. Fox. Marnham lifting it in behind. Smith now onto Russo. Back to Smith, who strikes it just wide. Rippling there, the side netting. Not a bad strike there from Smith. Just couldn't quite find the target. That's a good opportunity for Arsenal.
Getting Marnham just hooks it into a dangerous area. Brighton don't deal with it. I tell you what, Smith caught that nicely.
I think Smith should do better, though. It's not a bad shot, don't get me wrong, but I just think you've got to... She's focusing on power, and I get that, but you've got to hit the target there. Make Anadozi work at least. And here is Anadozi. And a great knock to the left-hand side. Foxo winning it back. Here is Caldente. Now into Marnham. And it's wide into Smith. And here come Arsenal again. Smith looks lively in this game. Fox pokes into Marnham in the half space. Sort of rolls the ball into the penalty area. It's headed away. And now Brighton trying to come forward. Camacho can't quite hold on to that one. And now Marnham, nice turn in there. Great tackle from Maisie Simmons there. And now Brighton looking to attack quickly. Here's Seike, holds it up well. Now Kankovic tries to poke it through to Mpome. Doesn't quite come off. And now Arsenal coming forwards. Little round the corner well from Marnham to Ford. Got to pick out the pass into Smith. Smith tries to go across the box. It's a deflected goal. And it's an own goal that gives Arsenal the lead. Smith tries to play it across the box, and OL Lyonnes has accidentally touched it past her own goalkeeper. Arsenal 1, Brighton 0. And Arsenal had chances, but the one that's gone in is the one they had very little to do with.
Really positive first 15 minutes from Arsenal. And as you say, they get a reward, but not through their own doing. It's better from Smith. Everything good has come down the right-hand side for the Gunners. It's Smith once again, who times the run just about. It doesn't matter, it's going to count anyway. Cuts it across, and again, I spoke about individual errors could make the difference. It's really poor from OL Lyonnes. It's so poor. Because she's not put her body in a shape to defend there. She is just jogging. She's just jogging, and it kicks her, it hits her on the foot.
Yeah, and those already adjusted to claim the cross, and she was just wrong-footed there.
Yeah. And that way, yeah, she's gambled. So interesting position to be in, but
well, to be fair, where the ball's gone, where the ball went, she nailed it because that's what she's reacted to.
But again, Brighton, it's been a bit haphazard at the back so far, and Arsenal taking full advantage of that.
Indeed, and now Arsenal back in possession. Reed Now Little. Fox. Now here's Van Domselaar. Catley. Van Domselaar. Reed. Little. Out to the right-hand side. Here's Fox. Drives inside well. Now back to Catley. Now Caldente. And that's a really good win in there from Helena Kankovic. Rule. Now Anadozi. Back to Rule. And Brighton just got to settle because I don't think they've settled at all in this game. They've rushed and panicked at everything. And now Hayes has been caught out there. Gets away with it. Good tackle into Mpome. Tries to beat Caldente. And it drops now for Ford. Now Arsenal here playing through Brighton. They're not even there. No one's tracking back. Ford into the box. Headed on in there by Rousseau, but to no avail. It's cleared away by McLaughlin. It's a really poor start in this game from Brighton. They're just all over the place. They look lazy and tired compared to Arsenal, which is bizarre because every other team has outworked Arsenal so far this season.
I'd love to see how many of these players played on Wednesday against West Ham because this is really poor. The pass, it's sloppy. The passing players aren't working hard, and Arsenal are playing some really nice stuff. I mean, obviously that does not help Brighton. The fact that Arsenal are moving it they're moving it quickly. They're keeping the ball ticking over.
Only 4 played the West Ham game on Wednesday night.
I think they'd all played yesterday. Blimey.
Catley into Caldente. I think that belief's just gone after the goal because Mpome's been caught out there. Ford lifting it towards the back post. Smith gets a touch on it, but not able to turn it goalwards.
But even before the goal, it was just a bit flat. They just look off it. They look really off it, Brighton, and part of that is that they are not performing. Part of that is that Arsenal are playing very well. It's been a good 18 minutes. It's a good reaction from Arsenal. It's exactly what they needed. The goal was a bit of fortune, but it had been coming. This has been much better. I don't know what Brighton are doing at the back today. Again, they've tried to overplay it. Those have been forced to go long because they put themselves under such pressure, and Arsenal just turn it over.
Yeah. Little can't bring that one under her control, and Mpome. Now all the way back to Nadozi. Rule. Looking to switch the play. It's just so open, this Brighton system. It suits Arsenal because they love playing underdog football. So they're able to just press aggressively and win the ball back because Brighton aren't able to string a pass together at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, the decision making from Brighton is bizarre. I'd love to ask Rule who she was trying to pick out with that pass where she just volleyed it up in the air. And she picked out Caitlin Ford, who didn't have a Brighton player near her for 10 yards.
Pass down the line, and Smith now out for a Brighton throw. Back to Rule. Lovely turn in there from Simmons. Plays it forward, but McLaughlin can't quite get that under her control. I find it odd. I think the 3-back would have worked better today than playing McLaughlin out of position. Yeah, such a poor goal to concede. And the problem is it just kills Brighton's game plan as well.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Oslo never looked to block the cross at all. No. She was just running with the player. If she'd looked to block the cross, it would have gone out for a corner. It's just half-assed at the moment from Brighton. Seike. Now Mpome. Rule. Lovely drive forwards. And it's back now to Mpome. Seike. Lovely give and go there. Seike gets past McCabe. Now looks to put it into the box. Chance now. Lovely dink from Kirby. Unable to pick out a teammate. But that was much better from Brighton. Moved the ball from back to front. quickly and stylishly, and they play through Arsenal too easily.
I was to say, where on earth did that come from? Brighton got the ball down and put a good move together. They've looked miles off that in the first 20 minutes.
Here is McCabe. Caldente almost getting caught in possession there. Caldente just about plays out of it. Little now to Fox. And now it's Little again, who can try and lift it in behind. Or Slagers is better to intercept that one in the right direction. Camacho. McLaughlin. Goes back to Hayes. Just a bit of a problem because Camacho is just quite clearly not a striker. And McLaughlin is quite clearly not a left winger.
Yeah.
If anything, just swap them. So at least Camacho's on the left wing.
Yeah.
McLaughlin's just really struggling on the left wing because she's not technical enough to play that position. Switch the play now into McLaughlin. Goes back to Rule. And now McLaughlin. Plays it through the lines into OL Lyonnes, who's inverted well. Here is Charlie's Rule. Hayes. Mpome. Rule. Back out to the left-hand side. McLaughlin. Rule. Hayes. Now to Seike. Yeah, surely on a day like today, you go Seike through the middle. Or even Kirby.
Yeah.
I don't know. Mpome. Ball out now to the left-hand side. Here is Helena Kankovic. Just dinking it in behind. That's beautiful to OL Lyonnes. It's cut back. Players there fighting for it. Kankovic flicks it towards goal. Seike in the back post. McCabe gets there, and there's apparently a foul.
Yeah.
As Seike threw herself at that ball. But Arsenal, you feel get away with one there. Kankovic could have struck this. So the great dink into OL Lyonnes. Ball across the box. Takes a deflection. That's what stops it being too dangerous. Kankovic tries to lift it over everyone. It's not a bad idea. And yeah, McCabe just gets that ball first, to be fair, and Seike comes in afterwards.
But that's exactly what Brighton want. They got the ball down and they played. There was 2 minutes there where they just moved it right to left, and then they pounced. Much better from the away side. Arsenal just got to be careful they don't let Brighton back in this game. Yeah, a crucial intervention at the back post from McCabe. If not, Kiko Seike would have certainly made that 1-1.
Simmons, tidy footwork. Rule, great knock to the right-hand side. Found from Mpome in space. Beats Ford. Now looks to come back inside. One back, though, by Caitlin Ford. And knocked out of play by Mpome. The other problem you've got at the moment is Mpome, they keep wanting her to create the width on that right-hand side, but she's not a right-back. Because right-back's playing left wing. So just odd. They've got players like Nordam who could have played in those in a high position. They've got Madison Haley.
Yeah.
Who could have played in a higher position. Which, I think Haley might be injured because she's not in the squad. But
again. Wow. Yeah, it's depleted from Brighton, but yeah, there could have been smarter choice. Not necessarily better, like they may not made them incredibly, that much better, but just smarter options.
Yeah. Here's Catley. Well, I don't hate the line. It's just not functioning 100% at the moment. They're still competing well. They've got since that goal, they've been the better team.
Yeah, they've settled, which I think is interesting. But it's what both sides really want to do. Brighton want to get on the ball now and just dictate the tempo. Arsenal happy to sit in. They're 1-0 up.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just need to control it.
That's a brilliant turn under pressure there from Maisie Simmons. So much space to drive into. Knocks it in now to Kankovic, who can try and play it in behind. It's a good ball towards Camacho, but
what a touch.
Yeah, there's a crucial chance to think of Catley there, isn't it? That just prevents it getting there. Little. Marnham back to Caldente. Reed. Now Van Domselaar. Back to Katie Reed. And it's now Little. Reed. Interesting to see now Little dropping into right back as well. Because what we've seen this season is that and Fox inverting, is that they've been doing that on the left-hand side, but not so much on the right-hand side.
Yeah.
But it just shows further the positional play that they're trying to implement.
And that's the thing, and to be fair, today, first 26 minutes, on the ball, they haven't made any errors.
And a dozy. Flicked on there by Kirby to no avail. Probably need to try and chest that. Calvente. Here is Ford. Wants to take on Mpome. Does well and draws at a ground ball towards the back post. Not a great delivery, but more positive from Ford. This is the sort of game Ford can shine in. The fact he's got a centre back at right back, so naturally isn't quite as quick to react.
Yeah, it's been an interesting season for Ford, because I thought that last season she was absolutely brilliant.
She's brilliant, yeah, right wing.
Yeah, and then she's been
making those runs towards the back post with Calvente on the left, and for some reason, throughout last season, or towards the end of last season and then into this season, Calvente's now a defensive midfielder. Hayes, that's cut out well by the high press of Calvente. We have seen, to be fair, slightly higher in this game, and in the last two games, as more of a midfield through a little as the deepest player, but still in build-up. She plays defensive midfield. And throw in now, which McCabe is not happy with her options. I know it's a Brighton throw. I think. Either that, or McCabe just got annoyed with no one moving, so she's just given up on it, and it is a Brighton throw. And Paul mate. Now she's down for their options. Goes down the line. It's going to go all the way through to Camacho, who keeps it on well, and that's nuts. That has not gone lino. You can see when she's actually off the pitch, she didn't give it. It's once Catley calls for it.
Important stage of the game, this, because Arsenal obviously started fast, scored the goal, Brighton, and then settled into it.
Kirby. Camacho, back to Kirby, lovely give and go from Brighton, and it's 4-on-4 here in the Brighton attack, tries to poke it through, and I'm not sure how she can complain. That's the poor pass from Fran Kirby.
Just got to hit it.
I mean, the runs were poor, so I'm sure it's what she's complaining about, but yeah, just use that deception, use the fact that none of them are really passing options, and just strike it. You're Fran Kirby. Calvente. Back now to Catley. Lovely bounce pass. It just opens up the space there for the pass into Ford. Good challenge from Mpome though to win it back. Now it's a bit of a mess here at the back for Arsenal. Catley recovers though and into McCabe. And the referee has stopped the game.
Yeah, Brighton are going to get a free kick further back. Which is interesting.
Not sure.
Because we had played... It was a foul, but we'd played a lot of football since that happened. Because look how far back McCabe had the ball in the penalty area when they stopped the game. And the foul was about 20, 30 yards behind that. But alas, Kirby's going to get an opportunity to just hook this into the penalty area.
And this could be a great chance for Brighton to hit back. And so Kirby towards the back post. Russo with some good defensive work there. Because Seke was lying in wait to put that across the box.
Yeah, it does well. Gets there first, but also it's a convincing header. Flicks it up, flicks it out. You know, doesn't... You do see, can see it sometimes. You know, players clear at their head, but it only reaches out the edge of the area. But that was a solid clear. It's had some distance on it.
OL Lyonnes. Camacho. Trying there to turn back into Little, who stood off ground well. And this is a great drive from Mariona Calvente. But that is a great tackle, though, from OL Lyonnes to break the attack. And now here come Brighton trying to be direct. Seke against McCabe. McCabe trying to see it out. Seke jostling with her, though. And McCabe does really well, though. And it does come off Seke there, knocking it out of play.
Brilliant defending from McCabe. I'm not really sure
I'm
that's
not
a
sure
Brighton
that's a
throw.
right throw. Even Seike didn't contest that. Kirby. Rule. Tries to play it through the lines. One back by Caldente. Here come Arsenal. Smith. That's a good challenge in there from the recovering Rule. And now back to OL Lyonnes. Hayes and Pomey. Now Anadozi. Looking for the forward pass, which is the midfield is still really ineffective. I don't think it's been as bad today. We've seen more of Caldente on the ball, carrying it forwards, trying to progress it. But, I mean, yeah, it's still not perfect, of course. But they do seem to be getting closer to making this setup work, this system actually function.
Yeah, it's been better from Arsenal, a lot better. I think that Brighton are a side that, as you say, it does favour Arsenal because Brighton want to be on the ball. So we've seen some of, the best performances against Arsenal have been when sides have let Arsenal have it. There's a reason even United and City both have preferred just to sit in a bit and then let Arsenal try and play through you because they really struggled. But Brighton, they're being open, they're being aggressive, and that's allowing Arsenal to have opportunities and to get the right players on the ball in the right areas. But yeah, overall, it's been much better. These first 33 minutes from Arsenal have been the best 33 minutes of their last 3-4 games.
Yeah, here's Reed. Out now to Fox. Looks to go into the channel and in behind for Russo, and the flag is up. No complaints there. She looked to have gone early. And the flag was up as soon as she touched the ball.
Yeah, going between the two centre halves, she'll be frustrated with herself, Alessia Russo, because it's the right run, but she's just mistimed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I say, she's done well to get in between the centre halves, and if she's onside, and Arsenal were in a very dangerous position.
Hayes back now to Anadozi. Clipping it forwards. Camacho looking to turn Reed. It's back now to Fox. McCabe under pressure. And now Van Donselaar. Looking for options. Goes into Little. And now McCabe. Again, it goes forwards. Brought down there by Mpome. And now Catley comes away with the ball. High up the pitch here. Caldente into Catley. Back towards Caldente. And it's Russo. McCabe. Caldente wants to switch the play. Headed down. Smith tries to touch it on. One back there by OL Lyonnes. And then cleared out of play.
Again, Smith is at the heart of everything at the moment. Everything positive for Arsenal.
But of course now we are going to have an interview. Ball into the box. That's cleared away by Rule. Launched forwards only as far as Catley. Seike. Into Camacho. Back towards Seike. Now on Pomey. And Ford there tries to deal with it and wrestled down. And now Arsenal coming forwards. Caldente. Little. Here's Fox. Little. Fox. Van Donselaar. Catley. Back to Daphne Van Donselaar. Catley trying to go out to the left-hand side. McCabe. Now Caldente. Back to Steph Catley. And now Van Donselaar out to the right-hand side. Reed. Caldente.
Well managed this by Arsenal, just moving the ball nicely, keeping it ticking over. Brighton at the moment are chasing shadows.
Exactly. It feels very tiki-taka for Arsenal, which people often confuse with stuff like, well, what Guardiola plays, very controlled possession. Tiki-taka is very much about pass, and it often results in very little penetration. I think that's what we're getting from Arsenal. 61% possession, just 2 shots. 6 shots, 2 on target. They're having a lot of the ball, some really nice combinations, really nice play, but the final ball isn't there. And if there wasn't an own goal, it'd still be 0-0.
Yeah.
Ball in behind. Seike now breaks into the penalty area. Got to square it now. It's a good stop from Van Domselaar, and it's out for a Brighton corner.
That's where the danger is for the away side. It's that ball over the top of McCabe into Kiko Seike. Great knock from Fran Kirby.
That's the 3rd time now Seike's got the wrong side of McCabe.
Probably has to cut this across goal here rather than shoot.
Well, should have sooner, yeah.
Yeah.
By the time that she got to shooting, that was the only thing she had left that she could do.
Because we saw for Smith's guy, it might not even be your teammate that puts it in. You've just got to get a deflection or something that can end up finding the back of the net.
That's the thing. It's not necessarily a cutback, but a shot across goal.
Yeah.
That you want there. Corner though for Brighton, and we've watched a lot of corners today.
Yeah.
Not many in this game. This is only the 3rd. But what can Brighton muster up from it? Ola Slagers. Ball into a dangerous area. Ooh. Van Domselaar came and missed it, headed away though. By Reed on the line, I think it was.
I want to have a look at. I thought it might have even been a Brighton head that headed it back the wrong way.
But yeah, Van Domselaar came and missed it. I think it's Russo, no?
I couldn't see anything. Anything in that, I missed it.
If it hit a Brighton head, it wouldn't have gone that far away.
No, probably not.
Russo was the player on the line. So Arsenal throw in now. Brighton tried to play forward, apparently went off the pitch.
So yeah, there's a lot of contentious ones like that. But at the end of the day, they're the ones that are stood 3 yards away from it.
Little.
Ooh.
And they're under pressure now as Brighton trying to force them back, and it's out of play. And into the hands of Dario Vidosic, who wants to get play going quickly. How has that been given as an Arsenal throw? The line has been poor on both sides.
And it wasn't there, was it?
It definitely wasn't that high. And that, it's one of the benefits of the Emirates, the fact that you do get...
It's been
the
messy.
It will have an impact on the refereeing performance, but yeah, it's just been weird.
Because it's just been both ways. We've seen some so bizarre ones. With one, everyone kicked his head, boot the ball off the pitch, and Brighton got a throw for it.
But yeah, that is the only one though that has gone that way. That's favoured Brighton. I mean, ball in, and that's dealt with well. And now Fox clips it in, and away well by Hayes. And cleared forward. It's just terrible standard of officiating really in the WSL. It's something that has to be looked at. More investment has to go into referees.
Yeah. But 5 minutes to go to the break hit, and Brighton stayed the ship. It's been... Sorry, I don't know. Look, McKay's gone down with a head injury because she's taking the ball in the face. I'm not particularly... I can't really tell because that's too... I'm not particularly convinced it hit her in the face. I think it was handball, and she's gone down holding her head, and that's how she's got away with it.
Phil says every corner Arsenal face is terrifying. Yeah, that one there was... Van Domselaar just completely missed it. If Russo wasn't on the line, that's a goal.
Yeah.
It would have just gone straight in from the corner. Because of the fact it was an in-swinger, and Van Domselaar completely missed it. But, I mean, she was asked in the press conference, I forget who asked it, but... she was asked in the press conference by a journalist, will you swap Van Domselaar because of the poor form? And, especially with Anneka Borba coming in, Would you not? Was she not? Why? I can't understand why you wouldn't think about swapping her.
So how have Arsenal got the ball back there?
Arsenal had possession.
Well, no, because Kirby kicked it into McCabe's head and the ref stopped the game.
No, it then fell to Arsenal, who had the ball, and then the ref stopped the game. And she probably, if it was a head injury, she probably should have stopped it quicker. Rousseau looking to spin out now for a Brighton throw.
Yeah, I think Arsenal will be happy they're leading. Brighton will be happy with the reaction. It's been better. They conceded, and I think Brighton have done well to kind of get themselves in the game.
Yeah, HB says such a horrible watch this. It's fascinating because at the moment, two of the strongest teams in the league are transitioning to a style that a lot of top teams and managers across the men's and women's game are starting to move away from. Ball here, try to have one brilliant from Rule. It feels like, because it's Bon Pastor's had her first season about, now she wants to implement her possession-based principles. Slager's she's had her interim spell and then the back end of last season out of the way, and now she wants to implement her positional play and possession-based stuff. Carla Camacho in the box now receives it well. Reed manages to nudge her backwards. Ball falls to Kirby. And now here's Hankovic. Seike. Into Kirby. Back to Seike. Towards Camacho. Great control. Carla Camacho. The shot, though, is poor. Turned and shot, and it just it didn't really have as much intention on it.
No, should have done very well to find the back of the net with that one. Brought it down well, but yeah, she was always struggling to...
Didn't make any clean contact with it. On the half turn, not really aimed towards goal. And a soft effort.
Yeah.
Would have been mirror. It would have taken Van Domsel to go and take the ball and throw it into her own net. That's the only way that was going in. Van Domsel sends it forward. Header won by Hayes. Fox wins it back in there. Little now. It's the right hand side. Fox going forwards. No, it says Arsenal have yet to impress me. That's it, Honker so far. Yeah, it's just lack of penetration. It's the same as Chelsea. The difference is Chelsea are better at controlling the ball. And a lot of Chelsea's problems today were different to what they've had in other games. Because Chelsea's problems have just been they haven't taken their chances. Today they struggle to create quite quality chances. Which is a bit more akin to what we've seen from Arsenal. Arsenal just don't create good chances. And they had one shot on target. For all of the possession they've had, one shot on target. Reed. Still couldn't get to that one. Kirby now to Camacho, who tries to take on Reed. Reed wins it back. Runs into a crowd of bodies.
She's done well there.
Yeah, manages to draw the foul.
Just somehow she's managed to poke the ball through the gap of the two legs, and then obviously been fouled because it's really good footwork from the centre half.
It's almost an accidental. What's it? I can't think what it's called.
Flip flap.
Yeah, flip flap. Obviously, you know that for all the flip flaps you've done.
Yeah, we've got 18-year-old centre halves in the WSL doing flip flaps.
Love it. Shows us you've got to flip flop. Ball in. Headed on. And now Impome comes away with it. And just a poor set piece all round from Arsenal. And now they're breaking away Brighton. Camacho. Smith trying to hold her back. Reed into Rousseau. And there's enough side flag in there again on Alessia Rousseau. And a minute of additional time in this first half. And it's a Brighton free kick after that offside. So they tried to take quickly. Kirsty Dale wasn't happy about how they do take properly. Hayes. I send it forward. McCabe heads it into midfield. And Little gives away possession. And they're coming forwards now. Brighton. Seike has to look left. Takes aim. It's spilt by Van Domselaar but claimed. Got to shift it left there. Kiko Seike. Great chance for Brighton. It all comes from a bizarre pass from McCabe. Header by McCabe into midfield. Little does poorly to deal with it, but it was a bit of a difficult one to deal with. And Seike's got to look left there. Great chance squandered. And that is half-time here at the Emirates. Arsenal 1, Brighton 0, a slightly fortuitous lead after Smith's cross was turned home into her own net by Marissa Ola-Slagers, but it gives Arsenal a narrow lead heading into the break.
I feel like a modern day football game is always summed up, or mostly summed up, by the amount of additional minutes you have in the half, and only one in that game, and I think that speaks volumes as to how both sides have played. It has not been the best game of football.
Even the goal, no one celebrated. Everyone just jogged back into position. It's so poor to watch.
Yeah, it's been scrappy from both sides. It's the kind of performances from two sides that aren't in form and know how important a win could be today. It's Arsenal with the advantage, but it's certainly not game over. As you say, an unfortunate own goal for Brighton, but a really silly own goal to concede. Ola-Slagers' body positioning was all wrong, and it just hits her foot as she's running back and goes into the back of her net. But yeah, sides have been equal on shots. Brighton have put more on target, but it's Arsenal who lead at half time. It has not been first half of the ages. The standard in front of goal has not been good enough, and to be honest, it's been such a scrappy midfield fight. It feels like Arsenal had the ball and then it just with the centre halves, knock it round a bit, gets into mid pack, and then it just becomes anyone's game once the ball gets into the middle of midfield.
Yeah, absolutely. Brighton, though, less possession, but they've been really good at turning the ball over. They've had more shots on target than Arsenal, created a higher XG, albeit only by 0.04. But I think that speaks volumes. Arsenal with one shot on target in this game. And they just haven't created anything. They've had all of the ball, arguably even all of the territory. They've been able to get the ball into good areas and do nothing with it. It's just been lacklustre again from Arsenal. It's the same problems that I spoke about in my video last week, on Friday I think it was, where I looked at Arsenal this season, what they're trying to do, what they're trying to implement, where it's not exactly working. And the same issues are cropping up in this game again, where Arsenal have got a lot of the ball, dominated possession-wise, but it's sloppy out from the back, and Brighton are able to turn it over and create chances. It's pretty. It lacks ideas. It lacks creativity in the final third. I mean, since Ford's effort early into the game, where there's a few chances for Arsenal that fell to Ford, and she managed to get a good shot away. Since then, and then obviously the own goal, Arsenal have really done nothing. But yeah, it's been tough to watch.
Exactly, it's really fun to analyse because neither side has really got anything going, and I think that it's one of those games where it's one of those games when it is scrappy like this, you'd rather see the halftime score level because then it means that both sides have still got time to. But this game's certainly not over, of course, it's just been. Again, I said it at the start, and I said it when they were going, and I'll say it again. It's individual moments, it's individual errors, or it's either moments of magic or it's errors. And to be honest, for these two sides, with the lack of form and the mistakes we have seen, again today, it has been more errors than it has quality. It's the own goal it's the glaring obviously one, but both sides have made errors playing out of the back. They've made errors on the ball. It's been sloppy. It's been a little bit lazy.
Yeah, I think both teams. I agree. Both teams made errors on the ball. I think Brighton have actually looked better on the ball than Arsenal have in terms of being able to play through the lines and create chances.
Yeah, Brighton got. It took them a while to get going. I think first 20 minutes probably they were pretty poor, but yeah, once they settled down, they had that move where for 3 or 4 minutes they just moved it around the penalty area. They went, left, right. They used the centre half, just kept on the ball, and they got it to the left, and McLaughlin flicked in. It wasn't from McCabe's vital intervention, and Kiko Seke would level the score. And it was from that moment onwards that they just got better and better and looked much stronger. And as they got better in the half, Arsenal they came back at them a couple of times, but it was one of those where I think it was Arsenal started really fast, got the goal, and played the better stuff in the first 20 minutes, but Brighton started coming back at them, and it definitely evened out towards the end of that 45 minutes.
I think what's interesting though is after 15, 20 minutes, I started to think, maybe I'm going to be massively wrong with my prediction because Arsenal are playing some nice football. And the question now that comes, from at half time after seeing another 25 minutes is, did Arsenal get worse or did Brighton just get better? Because in that before the goal, Arsenal were playing some really nice football, some great combinations, and we saw that good in possession stuff, deeper in their own half, but they just didn't really create anything for the rest of the half. And I think it's probably a bit of both. I think Arsenal took their foot off the gas a little more, and I just find it weird. Would you not just kick on? Obviously, there's a bit of Brighton that plays an impact, of course. Brighton got a lot better. They started being more, they started being better defensively. They started to be more comfortable in possession. They stopped making so many mistakes. But I don't think it was all Brighton. I think Arsenal took a little bit of more liberty after that goal. I just find it weird. They did the same in the Aston Villa game. Where they played all right. They got their goal. And then they went, well, that's us done for the afternoon.
Yeah.
And they just sat back and they tried to play some nice football. And then as the game went on, Villa went, well, we're going to go for this. And they went for it and they got that goal. It just feels like the same could happen today. And, it's been a theme of this season so far for Arsenal, this passivity, this lack of urgency in the side, immediacy.
Yeah.
You should be, wanting to go and get the next goal, wanting to go for the game. Even the second half against Man City, they came out half time. That first 2 minutes, they played so well. They got that goal from Calvin and they went, well, we're done.
Yeah.
That's our best effort of fighting in this game. And they brought subs on and Kelly found that screamer and they tried to fight their way back into the game. Then after that, they gave up again. Once Kelly had scored that screamer, it was like, well, we're level now. I just find it so weird. They just seem to get a goal and go. And it just feels like either a mentality switch or a tactical adjustment of we're just going to slow the game down, take the pace off it and try and kill it off. And there's no desire to go and get a second goal. It's just weird. That's the only way I can describe it. I don't understand it.
It's one of those, we say, in football, momentum is absolutely massive. And after scoring the first goal today, for example, it was all Arsenal. Brighton really were miles off it. And you felt that in the next 5-10 minutes, if Arsenal could really keep the heat on, it could have been 2 or 3-0 Arsenal after half an hour. But, they just stopped. I've never seen a football team like it. Again, it's fine if it's fine if you do it the Chelsea way because in terms of what Chelsea do, sometimes they go a goal up and then they just control it, but they're the ones on the ball. It's like Arsenal do the opposite; they control it, but it's the other team who've got the ball. But that doesn't work because the other team can still score if they've got the ball.
Well, Arsenal have the ball, but the difference is that Chelsea don't give the ball away in their own third. Like they will control the ball in the opposition's half.
Yeah.
It's just that perhaps they're not going to take the risk and try and play, a beautiful ball in behind because they don't need to take that risk. It just feels like there's a difference between managing risk and that obviously that risk versus reward, and then what Arsenal are doing, which just feels like more like taking their foot off the gas, playing with the handbrake on, where they just go, well, we've got that goal, and it's less of a, well, we're going to control the game in the opposition half, and more of a, we're just going to, everything becomes a little more lethargic.
Yeah.
Every pass has a little less give in it. Every action just a little slower, and it just results in the ball getting turned over. And that's Brighton have pounced on it so effectively. DMD says Arsenal are a different team when they won more. Other teams have made their team stronger, and you see the results. I think it is difficult in the WSL. I think the level of the league is so strong that if you put pretty much any team in the WSL other than, I would say, Leicester and probably West Ham right now, probably Liverpool right now, I think they finished like top 4 in the Liga F. That's the strength in this league. It's, you look at the Brighton 11 today, it's so difficult. But yeah, that does demand a lot of teams. But I think it makes obviously fantastic games and better league quality. But yeah, Brighton are a very difficult side. I think that's one thing to say as well. But yeah, it doesn't excuse what's been a fairly poor performance from Arsenal.
Yeah, it's one of those where I think that that's what Arsenal got to hold on to. Is Arsenal have lost games because of the equality of the league. So what they've got to hold on to is that the other sides at the top could still drop points. But we said at the start of the day, they cannot afford to slip up again today. They really can't. They need to find. They have to find. They have to hold on today, and they have to make sure that they get the win across the line. And by doing this, they have to find another goal for me. They cannot afford to spend the second half just sat there at 1-0 and then everyone be surprised when Brighton pull it back. It's exactly what Villa did. Arsenal scored early, you thought, wow, they're going to go out now, they're going to kill them off, they're going to get a couple of goals, and they're going to win big. They didn't. It just, the game just lulled, and then bang, Villa hurt them, right at the end. And Brighton will know that. Brighton will fancy themselves to make a real good go of this second half. And if Arsenal aren't careful, then they could find themselves getting caught out once again.
Yeah. I also think, looking back at the Smith transfer, that it's not a bad transfer. It's just maybe not the right one for Arsenal. Because what they've done is they've spent a large chunk, pretty much all of their transfer budget, on a player who's very raw and unfinished. And probably not an area of their side which was an urgent fix.
Yeah.
So where that could have been spent is bringing in a load of different players who are more fitting to the system and more refined. Like, you look at Chelsea signing Alyssa Thompson for a similar fee as what Arsenal paid for Olivia Smith, but you go, well, Chelsea have got a really strong squad. So having a raw player who needs to develop is fine because you can give her those opportunities. But Arsenal are having to start Olivia Smith constantly because they need her to do something. She has to be their star attacker. There's no sort of room for mistake or error. She has to hit the ground running immediately. That's why she's constantly played.
I think that I'm intrigued to see how long it's going to take before we get Olivia. We get Smith at Smith level, or not Smith, but like the level we saw at Liverpool, or even higher level technically, because she's in a better team now. She should. I think you should. Just what you expect to see is you expect to see those big money moves. They get that step up to a better team, so they should in fact look better than they did when you signed them. But yeah, it will take time. But again, it all comes back to the mixed messaging. Arsenal, they sign players and they bring through youngsters like it's a long-term project, and they've got a young manager. They've brought through Katie Reid this year. They've signed Olivia Smith. They get these young players, and it's like this is a project. It's like this is long-term. They're going to deliver. But then they've gone and won the UWCL, and suddenly then there's pressure for short-term success. And then it's like, which one do you want? Yeah. I think the men's side did well with they took the hit for a couple of years. They brought in Arteta, and they did suffer for a couple of years. They only had.
They still aren't winning.
That is true. That is very true. There's a couple of FA Cups in there, but you know what I mean. It's like you've gone and won the Champions League, so. Yes, you might have brought in Slagers as a thinking long-term project. You might have, you've got youngsters going through, but if you've gone short, if you've just won the Champions League, you have to back that up. You can't win the Champions League and then go, let's take a couple of years to rebuild.
But I think they had to. I think you got to disregard the Champions League in that, because if they were going to do that, then you've got to sack Slagers, because Slagers isn't a manager who's ready to compete regularly for titles and trophies. She's a manager that is going to take time. And this year is trying to implement some different ideas, trying to implement a new system, trying to bring in some new players. And because it's all happening at once, there are going to be areas that aren't perfect yet.
I mean, I'll say at this rate, they're going to sack her anyway. Based on the way they see.
But again, I think, in a sense, the Champions League win has killed her. Because now you expect Arsenal to go on and win things. If they were at this position and they had lost that Champions League final, I don't think we would have possibly the side would have been very different. Yeah. We would have seen a proper rebuild. But I don't think we'd have seen half as much sort of like worry and an immediate panic. But because Arsenal came into the season and everyone's going, well, they've got to win the league. This has got to be their year. They won the Champions League last year, so now they've got to win the WSL. And it doesn't look like it's happening. Immediately there's this panic. I think if they hadn't won the Champions League, they wouldn't be that concerned. Obviously not for a minute suggesting that they should have just thrown away the Champions League final because for the long term Slagers is going to be here. Of course not. But it will have an impact then on expectations, and I think it's setting an expectation higher than what is possible right now with Slagers in charge of Arsenal. I think she'll get there. I think she's a really promising young manager. I think the ideas that she's trying to implement, and we saw last season that flexibility already in her game as such a young manager is positive. But it's going to take time. It doesn't happen overnight, and it will take time. But Arsenal have got to be patient this season and ride through what is a tough patch. I still think they could probably get. I think they'll probably get Champions League football.
Oh yeah,
because United squad is thin, City squad is thin. City already. I mean, I know they don't have European football this year, but they've already got a bit of an injury crisis. And I think we saw United today start a little bit slowly. They brought on some of their starters at the end, and they really pasted Everton by the end. But yeah, I think that may not be sustainable with how light their squad is. But Yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't think it's panic stations, but I think Arsenal are far from convincing.
Yeah, they've got to hang in there. That's the worst thing. Even if they lose today or if they finish 5th, 6th, whatever, the worst thing they could do is sack Slagers now, because suddenly you take yourself right back to Route 1. It's a square one.
Route 1. Perfect love.
Yeah, maybe that's what they need to do.
Bringing Brian Soros in.
Yeah, but yeah, that's the thing. So they're in it now. They've brought in Slagers. They've gone and made the investments they have made. So they've just got to ride the wave now. You've made your bed. You've got to lie in it. The worst thing they could do is back out of that and revisit, especially because there's not many managers on the market. So and I think they'll turn it around. Slagers will get it going again. It will click at some point. They need it to click in the next 45 minutes though, because they really don't want to lose this game. If they win today, they'll be steady for the rest of the season. You feel?
Yeah. So Russo from the middle, waiting for the referee to also get us back underway here at the Emirates. It's Arsenal taking on Brighton. Arsenal leading by a 1-0 coming into this second half. But they definitely struggled at the end of the first. Russo knocks it back and we're back underway. Can Arsenal hold on to this win and get back to winning ways after 4 successive games without a victory? Or will Brighton be another team that can get a result against Arsenal? But it's Ford driving forwards here and Arsenal looking to sting the Seagulls early. Lovely play between Ford, Caldente. Can she create a chance? Goes out to McCabe. Back now to Caldente. Catley swings it in there and Pomey heads it away. Little tries to play it forwards. Could away by Pomey. It feels like Arsenal are trying to have an impact when they come out in the second half. So we saw it against City. Try and play quite quickly. Reed almost caught out there. Did well to recover now. It's the left-hand side. And it's Catley who's got forward. Back now to Mariona Caldente. Great pass through the lines into Russo, who tries to turn rule, and that is blocked out for an Arsenal corner.
The problem is the fast starts usually get negated by the following 35, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
But again, this is good. This is it's positive. Now trying to because they know a second goal would be huge.
So it's Caldente on this. Ball delivered in towards the penalty area. We'll run through and Olivia Smith will try and keep this alive now for the Gunners. Back to Fox. Now Little. Knocks out to the left-hand side. Caldente lifting it over. Looking for Ford. Wants to take on Pomey. Sticks it in the air and it's headed away well. And now Marissa Ollis-Slagers. Bounce around. Camacho tries to win it back. It's now Fox who will take the throw. Much the frustration there of the Spanish forward. Little. Catley. Now McCabe. Nigel says the City injury crisis isn't anywhere near what it was last season. After going forwards now, ball slipped in behind Ford and it's blocked out by Pomey. True, but the problem City will have is that because they've already got players injured, the players that are fit are just going to have to play continuously, and then they're probably going to end up getting injured again because they're having to play continuously because there are no other forwards.
Yeah, I think it's one of those where if their injury crisis wasn't as bad last season, this season would look worse. I just think that last season got so severe that right now it looks okay.
But even so, they got like one set of front three, and now Bene's just about coming back now.
Yeah.
So that's going to give them another player. But the fact they don't rotate Shaw ever. If they use Miedemar as an impact striker rather than as a attacking midfielder, they'd be fine. But equally now Clinton's got to play on the left wing, so they don't really have a natural attack midfielder. Anyway, ball in from Caldente towards the front post, and that is a poor delivery, and it's into the side netting.
Yeah, should have done a lot better with that. It's been a couple of those from Caldente today. Just rolling the corners in straight to the front post.
So Enadozie out from the back. She's going to play it short. Dummy to send it long. Hayes. Enadozie. Good pass forwards to Kirby. Very risky though. Pomey. And they do lose possession. They can't poke the pass forwards there, Arsenal. Lovely turn from Kirby into Kankovic, receives it well on the half turn. Now into McLaughlin. Can she pick out a teammate? Options left and right. Finds Kirby joining the attack. Now out to the right hand side. Seike lifts it in there. Headed away by Little, but that's out for a corner. That's a lovely move from Brighton. Moving from back to front effectively through the Arsenal lines. And now they've got a corner for their troubles.
Really good football from Brighton. That's the thing, when they can play out like that and catch Arsenal high up the pitch, that's when they look most dangerous. Yeah, it was a well-worked move. Just couldn't find anyone in the penalty area.
So now, Olislarga's over this. Can Brighton threaten the Arsenal goal? Ball in towards the near post. What is happening? National Day of Poor Corners.
I'll say it's been not been a good day in the WSL from the
Just corners in general, all
Yeah.
of them. I don't know if any of the goals in the games we didn't watch
Everton.
had corners.
Everton scored from a corner.
There we go.
It wasn't a great goal.
On the
though, was
week where everyone is bad at corners, Everton somehow are still good at them. Van Domselaar. Well, City are now going to score 3 goals from corners. And that's just because they've got great takers and they've got Miedemar, Shaw,
And Liverpool can't defend
and Liverpool
corners.
can't defend corners. So, yeah. Little. That's a poor pass. Seike will almost get there. Catley does well. Just to poke it to McCabe. And that pressure actually has given Arsenal some space here. McCabe, Marnham, out to the left-hand side. Ford can't get it under her control. It was zipped by Marnham, but Ford still should have done better. Montpellier stands her up. Now McCabe. Caldente. Back now to Catley. Catley, McCabe, Caldente. Now McCabe wants to deliver it. Goes back to Catley. Arsenal very high now, and it's run back by Kirby. She clears it out for an Arsenal throw. So yeah, Arsenal take it quickly. McCabe back towards Little, and Seike clears out for a throw-in.
Brighton have done well to just to weather the early Arsenal storm. And again, it's one of those where Brighton aren't threatening, and right now all seems well for Arsenal. But it's the kind of game that, again, as we get to 50, 60, 70 minutes, and it's still only 1-0, Brighton will believe they can just nick something from it. Not with passes like that, though, from Hayes.
Lovely turn from Little in there. Now Ford has got a bit of space to use. Chance now, it's blocked. And it's cleared by Brighton. Brighton just under the cosh in the first 7 minutes, but they've done well to just stand their ground, knock it clear. Ford now wants to take on Simmons, but forgot the ball. Goes back to Caldente. Now McCabe takes aim. It's straight down the throat of Enadozie. But a good stop by Chiamaka Enadozie.
Yeah, good foot from Arsenal down the left-hand side. Don't mind that from McCabe. Just having a pop. Why not? So often we just see Arsenal pass it around until they get dispossessed. But I like that from McCabe.
Olislargas. And now Hayes. Nice pass out to Kiko Seike. Goes down the line. Wasn't really any options on there. For Seike, not much support. Little. McCabe. Back now to Caldente. And now here come Brighton. Simmons. Kankovic. Gives it to Olislargas, overlapping. Who will lift it into the box. And Van Domselaar just about gets there. If not, Kirby was in. Caldente. Also to be a little bit later, because by the time Kirby made the run, Van Domselaar could see what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You sort of need Kirby to be in there first. Ford, head away by Olislargas. Now McLaughlin. Kankovic. Hayes. Simmons. Here's Rule. And across now into Kankovic. Hayes. Simmons. Back to Caitlin Hayes. Kankovic. And a Dozy. Just lifts it out to the left-hand side. Fox. Now Smith. What's really interesting is Brighton actually play a very similar style to Arsenal. And but they look much better on the ball because they've been doing it for a whole year.
Yeah.
And they've got all the they've got players that fit the roles. That is a clumsy challenge from McCabe, but the referee has closer eyes. Seke brought down there. Would you give it?
Yeah, I'd like to see it back, but I'm not because it's really weird of those ones because that looks so cut and dry and obvious that it must have been something.
And it's weird how no one for Brighton protested it. But
that's why I want to see it back.
Reed, one back in there by Simmons. Camacho. Lovely play from Brighton. That final ball just lacking though, and Catley has to knock it out of play. Nice football there from Brighton.
Yeah, moving it nicely. Again, just that final ball decision was probably the wrong one there. Vidosic looks... He's one of those where he looks a little bit frustrated, but I think he'll also understand that his side are in the game, and that's the main thing.
Yeah. And Pomey. Brilliant turn from Simmons into Camacho. Good control. Takes aim. Not a bad effort, and it's saved well by Van Domselaar.
Much better all round from Brighton.
Phenomenal turn, though, from Simmons. Absolutely incredible. Fox now drives it forwards. There's some red mist on the camera. Raw with a big challenge. Can't take it off of Rousseau. OL Lyonnes recovers back there, and that's a really good challenge there to knock it out of play.
Yeah, good defending. Too easy initially. Fox was just allowed to dance down the right-hand side, and the ball ran through to Rousseau.
Yeah. I couldn't quite make out Fox through the red mist.
Yeah,
that the BBC have put in front of their cameras.
Overall, it's just the lighting is really weird. Whenever plays in the sun, you just can't see it. But surely the cameras have got a filter or something that can deal with that.
Yeah. That's one of my biggest praises actually for Disney Plus. I thought the coverage was really good.
Well, it's because it was ESPN's, wasn't it?
Yeah, but still, Disney Plus could have bought the rights, and rather than getting ESPN to do it, yeah, exactly.
Bill on his phone from the stand.
They could have got a bloke who does Mickey Mouse out. Drops in there. Chance for Arsenal. Blocked. Rousseau. Oh, blocked off the line and cleared up in the air. It's another corner.
Wow. How is that not in the back of the net? Really, really messy from Brighton, and they've managed to get away with one there.
And yeah, punched away by Nadozi. Smith, Rousseau, both blocked off the line. And then Caitlin Hayes clearing it away. Probably Arsenal's best two chances of the game there. Little. McCabe. Swung in there, and then Nadozi under pressure. Does really well to claim it. She wants to throw it quickly. Rousseau gets in away. And Nadozi is frustrated.
See, what she needs... I don't know why goalkeepers don't do this enough, by the way. Because if she throws that into Rousseau, very likely has to be a yellow card for Rousseau.
I wouldn't risk it with Kirsty Dow.
That is true. But
Rousseau might then just get the ball put in the goal and they give it.
I guess. But so many goalkeepers pretend to throw it so that it looks like they're being stopped, but then they don't. But you better just boot it into her, and then suddenly you get her booked.
There says Arsenal are not struggling to create. They just don't have the cutting edge in the final third. Well, no, they haven't had any chances to score. But yeah, they probably should put more of their shots on target, but they haven't had the ball in great areas anyway.
I don't think either side have created a big chance yet, have they?
No.
I mean,
0.43 XG to 0.44 XG.
Wow. I mean, it's
one of those games.
Yeah. Still plenty of time. I think it really could kick into life. But Arsenal don't seem to want it to. Arsenal want it to just lull out for the next half an hour.
Sake wins it there off Caldente. Simmons, Kirby. Back to Simmons. Options around her. Kankovic. That's good defending from Little, but Kankovic should do better. Smith caught trying to break out. OL Lyonnes. Hayes. Now on Pomay. Down the line into Sake, who plays it into the channel well to Kirby. Back to Sake. Nice football. Ball into the box. Camacho! What a great save from Van Domselaar. Tips it wide and round the post. Lovely move from Brighton and merited a goal at the end of it, but denied cruelly by a fantastic stop by Daphne Van Domselaar.
That's phenomenal. That is a phenomenal save. It's brilliant football all round from Brighton. It's a great header from Camacho. And Van Domselaar, she puts it in the perfect area, Camacho. Such a good header. Flicks it towards the far post. And Van Domselaar at full stretch. That is a huge stop. But Brighton are starting to really threaten now. Best chance of the game so far for either side, that.
Yeah, best move. First big chance of the match.
Oh,
and a terrible corner.
And that's not even hit the front post. That has barely caught the side netting. That's nearly just gone behind the goal. That was yards away from being on the pitch by Kirby.
Uncharacteristic for a Frank Kirby.
Can't be afford to do that at this level.
Yeah, that was a great chance for Brighton. Carla Camacho
What a save.
did everything right.
And that's needed for Van Domselaar. Our goalkeeper has had a few errors in the last couple of games. But that is a phenomenal stop.
That's supposed to be the criminal from Brighton not getting corners into the box. Chance down for Russo.
Oh my.
That's brilliant from Vidosic. Far off her line.
I was not expecting her to come there. Russo was in. Hayes was with her. And then was this. And then Dozy came running out. Great ball though from Catley. Perfect area to put it into.
It's great
So
goalkeeping
good.
because that's easy to get that wrong.
Oh yeah, never go in like that. Like that is, she's very fortunate to get away one there.
Oh, she's nailed. She gets the timing.
Oh yeah, she gets it right, but that is so easy to get that wrong.
Yeah. But if you can do it properly, do it.
Yeah, true.
As long as you're not Robert Sanchez.
Yeah,
McCabe on this throw in.
that's got to be that was a let off for Arsenal. It's got to be the warning sign. But they need to get it up a gear in this game.
But yeah, it just came from Brighton having the ball and being able to play through Arsenal too easily. So nice move down, really nice move down the right hand side, swung into the box, and Camacho beat Reed in the air. And Pomay tries to poke it down the line. That's out though for an Arsenal throw. Triple change now for the Gunners. I saw a Cooney cross. I saw a Black Sansom. Don't know who else I saw.
A Beth Mead.
Oh, nice. Probably all the changes I would have suggested.
Yeah.
Unless this is going to be Marnham off and Russo in the 10. In which case, why? Ford. Ball in, blocked well by Pomay. It's ahead though. And concerning how she's gone down. The referees know.
Yeah, they're coming. Well, Arsenal get to make their changes. Yeah, I'm intrigued to see who's going to come off here.
Well, it looks like Ford. I don't know, they just focused on her for no reason. If I had to guess, Little, Ford and Russo. Well, I want who I would take off.
Yeah.
Who's going to come off?
Van Domselaar.
Marnham, probably. Caldente and Smith.
Yeah. Well, she's saved back then. What a ball that is from Seike.
Great knock.
Such a
Lovely
good
header.
Oh.
Great reaction. Just tip it.
Yeah.
Fingertips. Round the post.
At full stretch as well.
For all the mistakes she's made this season, that's one where you'd go, well, if she hadn't got there, fair enough.
Well, you were right. Caldente off, Smith off.
Is the other one Marnham?
Go on, the hat trick.
Olivia Smith hooked. Mariana Caldente hooked.
Man.
And Frida Marnham. It's just too obvious. Oh, brilliant.
Let's see if this can give Arsenal what they need to find a second goal in this game.
At least Canate gets a rest before if they got on midweek.
I think it's a nicer game, isn't it?
Benfica. Not necessarily. Benfica are good. They got a stretch right here from Pommes. Concerning. Trent down after getting the ball to the head, back of the head. Then just it's concerning.
Yeah.
It looks like she will need the stretcher as well. Hopefully she's alright. Phil's saying because Russo in the 9 with Monham is rubbish, he just comes into the 10 anyway. Yeah, maybe if they used Canate in the 10, that'd be fun. I bet every time I get taken off here. Nice, then with some death emojis. And then Slagers is too predictable.
Yeah, that is a problem, that you can just predict her subs. that was like,
Even said what I think she should have done, and then what she will do.
It's the same subs, and it's always the first stoppage after the 60th minute.
Yeah.
But again, it speaks about where their head is at. They're not keeping their best players on there to try and kill the game off with a second goal. They're bringing on the rotation players and maybe more conservative, not the most creative players to see this game out at 1-0, which is really, really risky.
It's just weird. That's what it is.
Yeah, and they've got 25 minutes to see this result through. But yeah, they're winning, and that's what and this is why they're winning. Honestly, because it's every time I watch it, it frustrates me.
Yeah, she should deal with it so much better.
No defender should be running back like that against their winger. She's side on, so she's running alongside, and there's no defending.
She's not side on. She's just running.
Yeah,
she was side on. It wouldn't have happened. She should have been side on. She should have been dealing with the ball coming across the box.
Sorry, she's side on with Smith. She's not. She needs her body to be side on, but facing Olivia Smith.
Tins, but welcome to the stream. Says hi. Nigel going says updating us on the UWCL 2. I did say obviously we were talking about the weird decision to put all 6 games on at once the other day. Because why would you put them all on the Sunday? What's even weirder is to put there's no men's football this weekend, no club football. Yeah. It's obviously international. It's for anyone that wants to watch England, Wales. And England, is it Latvia?
Latvia away on Tuesday.
Oh, what a game. Can't wait, personally. But there's this whole weekend, and all the women's football, WSL 2 and WSL, all on the Sunday.
Yeah.
Making sure that it all clashes with like everything else that could be happening, like young girls playing football, like grassroots women's football. It's just weird.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand it. I think that obviously the reasoning for them is that they want to establish this 12 o'clock slot with their multi-view system. Because what I love watching is 4 games at once, so I can see none of the action.
Yeah, I'd love to know who does use the multi-view system.
I'm sure there are people there. If I was watching it casually and wasn't particularly interested in any of the games happening, put it on in the background.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that with football. Watch it casually, with no interest. But if you're only a casual, if you're an Arsenal fan, for example, and weren't particularly bothered about the games this morning, just put them all on and so you keep updated with it. But it's just the fact that I don't know why they're pushing it so much. But yeah. Nigel says, I literally only watch international football. It's a major tournament. Couldn't care less about the qualifiers and friendlies. It's almost always the same teams. Yeah. Like, England's next international break have got a friendly against Brazil. We're playing Brazil again in March because it's the Finalissima. Yeah. So who decided what a brilliant idea it would be to schedule a friendly with them? But yeah, no, I'm not particularly bothered about friendlies. I say that when it's England-Brazil, you will see me on stream there like I'm the biggest lover of international friendlies. Because we can't have 2 weeks without a stream, simply put.
Look at the difference, by the way, between Cooney Cross and Catley's socks.
How long?
Stark contrast. Catley's are above her knees. Cooney Cross don't even reach her shin.
Ryan says, putting all the games on at the same time by a massive paywall isn't how I would grow the game. Well, the thing is, it is in terms of who they're marketing the game to.
Mm.
Because when you actually look at the data, and obviously we can get an idea of it or a snapshot of it because of who watches our channel. But the majority of people that engage with women's sports and actually watch this sport are men.
Yeah.
So I think the idea from Sky is that they want more men to watch it that first and then the rest of the Premier League. Obviously, that doesn't really apply today, but today I guess they're trying to set it up for in future weeks. But that's why they want this 12 o'clock slot. But watch that, and then like the men who wouldn't normally watch women's football are going to watch it because it's on, and maybe they get into the game, and then they watch the 2 o'clock, and then they watch the 4:30, and so they sit there and they watch Sky Sports all day. They watch all the adverts, and Sky make loads of money. What they're not bothered about is the young girls that can't watch it on a Sunday morning now because one, it's behind a paywall, and two, it's on at 12 o'clock, which is when they play football. What they don't care about is grassroots women's football, where for this season so far, we'd love to go and watch our local, but simply put, we can't because of our job covering the WSL.
Yeah.
You know, if we took a weekend off to go and watch our local team and just decided to stream nothing, that's a problem. But yeah, luckily the next 2 weeks there is no WSL action, so we can actually go and watch them. But yeah, it's just there seems to just be a disconnect between the problem. We spoke about this before when we talked about how to grow the women's game, and there seems to be, because you've got two audiences to aim for, it's very difficult to market it to both at the same time, which is something you don't really have in the men's game. The men's game, you just sort of, you go, well, everyone loves men's, you know, all the men love football, or just put it on a channel and all the men will pay and watch it.
Yeah.
But the difference you've got at the moment in the women's game is that you're marketing it both to women who've never watched football before, and you want them to get into the game, and then marketing it to men who've watched football for years and are now looking to get into potentially a slightly different game. But it's just, I think what the way they're doing it at the moment is that online and sort of media coverage is tailoring it more towards men's football fans who aren't necessarily going to go to the stadium, and their match days and things like that are tailored more towards women's football fans. I think stuff like DJs and obviously the reduced tickets and stuff like that is all pushing it that way, and they want to be that family feel. Umpome off on a stretcher and with a covering as well. Gets a round of applause from the Brighton fans. Hopefully she is okay, because this is massively concerning. Just took the ball to the back of the head. You could see when she went down that it looked a concerning injury, the way she wasn't moving, and yeah, she has gone off here on a stretcher. Hopefully she will be okay. But yeah, massively concerning on that for Umpome. So our best wishes and thoughts are with her.
Yeah, big test for Brighton now. Big test for Brighton.
We've both got to settle back into this game. We've had about a 7 minutes.
Yeah, 7-8 minutes. I don't know if you want to push back the start of Liverpool City. But yeah, it's
what option? It's going to be the same time at this rate. We're going to just go from one into the other.
Yeah, you know, that's what I meant. So the start, yeah.
We'll see what happens, but yeah. Cooney Cross. Probably will end up being 5 minutes. Not cleared away there by OL Lyonnes. It wasn't a great corner, but to be fair, they hadn't kicked the ball for 8 minutes. Well, they weren't in action for 8 minutes. That's Cooney Cross's first action, was to come on take a corner. Moontrip asking what's happening. Just a head injury to Umpome, very concerning, but yeah, she was receiving treatment on the pitch, and then has gone off. Hopefully she's okay, but yeah, it did look worrying. Ball sent forwards, headed away, as far as Little.
Yeah, not sure. Do you catch who came on, by the way?
No. It's Marit Howie.
Okay.
Ball out to the right-hand side, looking for the run of Ford. Hard pressed to keep it on. She can't.
So yeah, we're now in a position where it looks like Arsenal have only got to see out the next 17 minutes, but we know that we are probably looking at double digits worth of injury time.
Yeah, it's probably closer to 25 minutes, I would say.
Yeah.
Plus then obviously whatever's added on to the game. So yeah, we will be getting close to kickoff probably for Liverpool Man City. And Adozi. Kirby. Simmons. And now it's Rule. Hayes. Looking to carry the ball forwards, Hayes. And takes it past Russo, shifts it to Kirby. Back now to Simmons. He will try and switch the play. Well, unless they're trying to pick out Vidosic. That's never going to find its intended target.
Yeah, Brighton will, again, they'll sense an opportunity. They know there's a chance they can get something out of this. They've done well to keep it at 1-0. Arsenal really haven't threatened in this second half.
Here is McCabe. Wants to swing one into the box there. Pops against it. Goes to Cooney Cross. Now McCabe. Back to Cooney Cross. And to Rousseau. Now Little. And it's McCabe again. Catley. Cut out by Owie, and it's going to drop in there now for Seike. Owie. Good there from Simmons to hold on to the ball into Kankovic, who looks up and looks left and picks out McLaughlin. Now but ball down the line into Ollis Lagers. Tries to shimmy back inside. Fox though deals well with her. And then Reed into Ford. Great challenge there from Helena Kankovic. Yeah, with the oncoming Arsenal attack. And now there's an injury to Simmons, I believe.
Yeah, another Brighton player down. Another stoppage. I don't know what happened there. It's going to be, feeling something. That was very much, it was off the ball. Just sat down. So this is probably going to force Brighton into another change. They haven't made any subs though. So, they've still got 4 remaining. Yeah, and Nordam is going to be thrown into the fray.
So yeah, Brighton had a few forced changes now.
Yeah.
But sorry, what did you just say about this change?
So they've made 1. So they've still got 4 left. So
okay.
They're doing all right. But of course, they don't want to keep using all their stoppages and all their subs on injuries.
I wonder at this point if you change someone on as well.
Yeah.
You should make it a double change. But it doesn't seem to be anyone else warming up.
Nordam is still receiving her instructions because it's just been where is it? Oh, she went and told the ref, sat down, and when the ball goes out of play, she just tells the ref, sits down, and calls the physios on. So nothing really, like no contact or anything.
Yeah. It must just be, it looks muscular, doesn't it? With the way that she went down and was holding a leg.
But no, Nordam still receiving her final strike. They've got tablets out and all sorts. A lot of people have got a lot of things to say.
Yeah.
Like they normally would, it's just the fact they're all having to do it in the space of 2 minutes. And again, that is not a player that Brighton needs to be out. Simmons has been superb today and this season.
Yeah, but also the function she is, or how she functions in the team, I should say. With dropping into the back line, with pushing out wide sometimes.
Yeah.
It's not Nordam's not the same player. So it's going to be really interesting. There's been a lot of fluidity, a lot of dynamism in that midfield, a lot of rotations in there. And Nordam is more of an attacking midfielder, out and out attacking midfielder. So yeah, this will be interesting to see how they respond. I wonder if they'll go for the game a little bit more. I wonder if we might see Kirby a little bit deeper.
Maybe, yes. Very aggressive midfield.
I mean, Arsenal has been inverting anyway at times. Okay, they can't quite catch Cooney Cross as she breaks away on the attack. It's forced back now to McCabe. McCabe there taking a tumble. Referee, no interest in giving that. Ball down the line from Catley. Cut out well by Auer. And now it is Reed. Want to thread a pass through the lines for the safe option of Fox instead. Now Ford. Lovely flick into Russo, who turns well. And now it's Cooney Cross. Goes wider still. Mead. Ball delivered in there, looking for Black Senna. It's going to drop now for Ford at the back post. Lays it back to Fox. Now Ford. Back again to Emily Fox. And now here is Reed. Ball through the lines for Ford. Cuts it in, and that is cleared away well. Now out for a corner. This is the kind of game where you go, well, could you rest up? Last 22 minutes for Arsenal. if we had however long we think it could be,
Mm.
do you not now start looking at resting a Reed or something with obviously Champions League next weekend?
Well, no, because the game's not done. And that's the problem with not killing off games and not being convincing. Absolutely, if they're 3-0 up, then happy days. Take off Catley, take off McCabe, rest everybody up. But again, they're shooting themselves in the foot. They're only 1-0 up. The last thing you want to be doing is upsetting the balance of that back line right now. I think they'd love to rest, and they need to be rotating.
Ball in from McCabe, headed on off the bar, and that would have given them a cushion in order to rotate possibly, but
I'd look like
just wide. Well, just over, sorry, from Stina Laxenius.
Yeah, it's a great ball, really good run from Bathurst. No one picked her up to start with. That's a massive let off for Brighton. It's not even like she's just peeled off someone. No one picked her up in the beginning before the ball had come in. And she just drifted into the space at the front post. It's not a bad header, to be fair.
In a dozy. Lifts it forward. Nice game. One touch, two touch, one back in there. By Brighton momentarily. Reed steps up through the front line of the press well. Now forward. So confident, given her age. Out now to Russo. It's Katie Reed. That's so good. Fox. Russo. Ball in. That's cleared away. And now Kirby sends it forward. No one really up there, though, for Arsenal. For Brighton, sorry.
And that's the thing, I think, what's made Katie Reed so good is that usually what we see when youngsters step up, they get it. Obviously, nerves gets in, and they try and just get the basics right. So they don't do anything. They don't do anything. They're not bad, but they don't do anything impressive. They don't usually. They play it very safe with their options. They don't take risks. But Reed's just come in and just played her game. Not really, worried about who she's playing or what the occasion is. She just plays her football, and she backs herself to do things like that. She has, she plays with confidence.
Yeah. LG says I would have kept Smith on taking forward. Our forward's frustrating. She's half a second too slow in the box. That's why our crosses always get blocked. I'd have taken her off. I think Ford struggled today. I think Smith just gives you a bit more of a spark. I mean, it's funny you say that when the three subs were being readied. I said they should take off Ford, Rousseau, and Little, and then correctly said that they will take off Smith, Caldente, and Marnham. Olas Lagers. Back now to Rule. Hayes. And it's Rule again. And now Helena Kankovic. Lovely pass around the corner into Nordam. Hour. Hayes. Now Rule. Kankovic. Nordam, lovely turn in there. Dragged back by Cooney Cross. Still executes the pass. Probably the wrong pass there. She tried to play out to the left-hand side, but it is a free kick there.
Yeah, just pulled back as she played the ball. Let off, as you say, because that was not a very good pass. But
it's the wrong decision.
Yeah.
I mean, trying to pluck out the left-hand side of McLaughlin over the top of Fox. It's going to have to be a glorious pass to work, and they try and do it again. It's out of play. Fox now with the throw on this near side. Goes down the line. Rousseau in a crowd of bodies holds onto the ball, but yeah, I don't know how right I'm on that fact, to be honest. Cooney Cross. Catley. Must have just wriggled away out of there. Reed sends it forwards. That's chested down by Rule. Fox back to Reed. Brighton keep the pressure on. Fox, lovely pass through the lines. Now Rousseau. Just clipping it over the top, and Adozi heads it away. Rule. And Kankovic there was blindsided to the incoming Beth Mead, who gets caught.
Yeah, it's accidental, but definitely a foul. And Adozi. I mean, what I think stunned me more by the fact she had that ball away was that it wasn't like she ran from her goal to head it away. That was her starting position. She was just stood there, ready to go, ready to head it away. Good header. And then, yeah, a bit messy from Brighton. Probably should have dealt with it. And then, yeah, so it's a painful one for me, right on top of the knee.
It's one of those where it's just what more can Kankovic do, really?
Oh, yeah,
He's
absolutely.
just trying to clear the ball away. Mead does really well to just get in the way, really. Ball into the box now from Cooney Cross, head away. And now Mead. And that's not how to play by Kirby.
Yeah, Brighton managing. They're balancing it. They know with the added time that it's not. It's they don't need to drop the hammer now. You know, they can afford to take the handbrake off once we get into the.
Ball in from McKay. Blackson gets there and knocks it over the bar. Well, over the bar is kind because I don't think she was actually in front of the goal. Just more high and wide.
Yeah, would have done very well to poke that home from that angle. I think it's not much. Yeah, it's just a difficult one. You need to somehow hit the target. If any of those didn't save it, I'd have a lot of questions.
Hayes sends it forwards. Seike now wants to take on McCabe. Does well to square her up. And now she'll have the beating of her in behind. She opts to slow down, waiting for support. Now wants to go forwards again. And Mead has brought her down. And that is a Brighton free kick. Smart play from Kiko Seike. Mead's frustrated, but smart stuff from Seike. Draw the foul.
Yeah, really good. Just that slow and burst, slow and go, slow and go. First beat McCabe, then slow it down again, then burst inside. And Mead trips her up. Really good from Seike. She's had a good game today. And a chance now for Brighton to swing the ball in the penalty area. Got to be a better delivery from Kirby.
Has to be. Just wanted to bounce up in the box, really. Great delivery. Pushed away by Van Dotselaar. Wild from Seike. Somehow kept alive there.
Yeah, it did go.
But it did go. I thought we would get that alive like some miracle, but got to do better. Just Seike.
Just drew it straight in front of her. I don't really know what happened. Great ball from Kirby. Van Dotselaar as well now.
Yeah.
Oh, why? Yeah, I don't really know what she's tried to do.
She tries to strike it at the wrong point. Once it's coming down to the ground.
Yeah.
Obviously, you want it to be coming down, not going up and try and strike it. But it's coming down, and rather than hitting it as it's coming down, she hits it too low.
Yeah,
pretty much already on the ground by the time she tries to swing it.
You're not going to get under it yet. That one you have to step onto. You have to step over it and just drill it, rather than try and get under it and like caress it into the goal.
Oh yeah, she almost waited till it was on the floor. Just got time wrong. Little. Cross. Can you cross out wide? Finds Mead. He wants to create something which is offside.
Three minutes and a normal time remaining. Still Brighton have had more shots on target in this game. Arsenal, though, having more shots. And more changes will be coming soon for the Gunners. But again, now they're bringing on Kelly, which is more of an attacking change. The changes are so bizarre to me.
Yeah, it's weird though, because they've probably still got like 13 minutes left in this one.
Yeah, but it's like the triple change earlier felt a bit more, like they've conserved.
It feels like a sub for the sake of it.
Yeah.
Like,
get Chloe Kelly on, everyone will scream.
Get Kelly on over Ford. That's a change, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I guess rest up a little bit for Benfica.
But it's one of those where why would you bring three changes on that can serve in the 15 minutes ago and now bring an attacking change?
And presumably you're going to start Mead and Kelly against Benfica because they didn't start today anyway. So how does it rest up? Little has to play it through the lines. One back in there. And then cleared away.
Yeah. Still quite a way to go in this one.
Suvin Latt says, Lyonnes sitting now in front of Liverpool. Who is the strongest team? Lack of investment in the women's side, question mark. Still no points. Yeah, they've played a game now 2 less than a lot of other teams. So I don't really think they're going to win today. So for the sake of this, you never know. A game less. Lack of investment. They brought a manager in who I think is very decent in Gareth Taylor, but they brought him in way too late in the summer. Gave no time for him to work with the squad. They didn't replace their best player and pretty much only goal scorer last season. So, yeah, I mean, we'll just probably discuss it more in the Liverpool stream, but they just, it's not worked at all this season.
No, they've tried to play Gareth Taylor football with players that frankly aren't good enough.
Well, I don't know. I feel like they could, but they've had
Or
a month to work on it
yeah,
before
exactly.
the season, and they could have had 2.
Like Brighton with Vidosic, they did look good, but there were errors. And then look at this season. He's brought in centre halves that are good on the ball, and he's brought in centre halves that he wanted, and they've looked so much better in possession.
Yeah. And the fact that Brighton today have put up a fight. I mean, the fact they've lost, they're going to lose to an own goal at this rate. They've put up a fight with no Adjamak, no Kafaji, no Haley, no Minami. So many players missing.
Yeah.
Cooney cross into the box, head away, drops down for Russo, strikes it, and it's wide. Not a bad strike from Russo.
Could have killed the game there and then.
Yeah.
Yeah, well recycled by Cooney cross. It's not a bad ball in. Again, the header is okay. But yeah, Russo, that was not far wide of the mark.
Those eating now. Rule. Cross to Hayes. Plays it inside there to Kirby. Back now to Hayes. We've got 13 minutes of an additional time in this game, which is always good news when we're doing 3 consecutive live streams. Seke tries to carry it forwards. Mead does well down now, though, and that will be an Arsenal free kick. But yeah, obviously, the Mpome incident has added a lot of time there. That was about 7-8 minutes. And then, I don't know where the other 5 is coming from, to be honest.
That would be normal, won't it? We would have got 5.
But we've not had goals, so no celebrations.
True.
We've had a couple subs. Simmons was down for about a minute, I guess. Don't think that's 5 minutes though. But there is time for Brighton. 12 minutes of time to be exact now. We've had to make the added time smaller because it's too big. It's too many minutes.
Yeah.
So, ball into the box now. Bounces around. And that's cleared away well by OL Lyonnes.
It's been a while since I've seen plus 13 minutes. Brighton will be very happy because they need all of those. Well, we're hoping they don't need all of them, but they'll need at least one of them to find the back of the net.
Remember Arsenal vs Aston Villa being like a similarly long. I think it was like 8 minutes, which at the time that was ridiculous.
Well, that's the thing. It was, wasn't it? It was the Villa in injury time at the Emirates 2 weeks back.
Yeah.
It's in a very similar position. So will it be deja vu for Arsenal?
Yeah, we haven't. The difference is Villa didn't offer loads throughout the game, and then they had a flurry right at the end. In this game, Brighton have had loads. Have had chances throughout the match, and there hasn't really been that flurry. And I just worry they perhaps don't have the subs.
Yeah.
In attacking areas. Look at Villa. They changed their strikers. They changed their wingers. They've had a bit more dynamism and energy in attack. Their bench today is Eliana Martin and Tahira Heron, 2 young players. Very young players, I think 17, 18. Is that really going to come on and change the game? They've got Fuka Sonoda, 20 years old. They've got Cara Barley, she's going to come on and change the game. Evie Milner, who's 18. Central midfielder. They just don't have the players to actually make a difference. 2 goalkeepers. Bagley target forward for the last few minutes.
Yeah. Heron Caravalli up there.
So I do just worry maybe Brighton don't have the subs, don't have the changes. I guess the problem with loaning in 2 players from the same club, so when you play that club, you then have a lot.
Oh yeah.
Very short. I mean, it doesn't help. They've got a lot of other injuries at the moment as well. Ball in, not a great ball from Kelly. Easy claim for Enadozie. Stephen Lex says, Man City has a chance to finish in the top 3 since they don't have to play the UWCL. Do you think United will keep it up until the end of the season? City will depend on, again, how their squad deals with injuries and stuff. They can keep players fit and bring back the injured players, they'll be all right. United will very much depend on fitness. They're managing 2 competitions. They've got January, where if they invest properly, they could put themselves in a really good position.
Yeah.
As long as they can keep everyone fit till then. But yeah, I think they can both finish top 3. I've not been convinced at all by Arsenal this season.
Yeah.
This is a much more positive result, though. If they can hold on to it. Not performance. And that's the key thing, I think. Norda. Is scoring from an own goal every week sustainable?
No.
And they haven't created chances outside of that to score.
I think, as I said at the start, both things were huge today. I think, obviously, the result is massive if they do see it out. I think when you are winless in your last 4, just getting 3 points on the board will be something. But yeah, the performance needs to be raised.
Rule. Back now to OL Lyonnes. Tries to poke it through the lines. OL Lyonnes again. Here's Kirby. Seike. Good ball in. Claimed well by Vidosic.
Huge claim. Last thing Arsenal need now is a Vidosic
clanger.
Yeah. Drops the ball to Seike's feet. Arsenal just got to get the basics right now. Nothing silly. Hold on to the football. But they shouldn't be in. They should be good enough, Arsenal, to kill the game off. I don't know why they don't kill games off. I really don't.
Here's Mead. Back now to McCabe. And it's Mead again. McCabe. Ball into Blackstenius now in the penalty area. Back now to Mead. Tries to play the ball through the lines. It's dealt with well by Brighton. Out for another Arsenal throw, though. It's quite interesting because I think Brighton were probably better in the first half than they were in the second. Second half, they have struggled a bit more. Play through the lines.
It's not been one for the ages, is it?
No. Well, it could be going well.
It could, and that's why football is
exactly.
a fun
Score a
game.
brace now. It's one of the most memorable matches this season.
That is true. For 6 minutes of the 103.
Exactly. Very so nice turn. Tries to poke it to Kelly. Little. Mead. Now Cooney cross. Reed. Catley. I think it's really interesting that the way Arsenal play and just are, I guess, as a club. You look at Chelsea Tottenham earlier today. Chelsea only won 1-0. At no point at the end of that game were people going, "Oh, could Tottenham turn this around now?" They could find a goal because Chelsea just dictated the game.
To be fair, Brighton really aren't.
In extra time, no, Arsenal up in the backside. Blackstone in to score wide of the mark. No, I think I'm referring more to Villa last week.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Or 2 weeks ago. The problem here, Brighton just haven't got... The changes have made Arsenal... Just given Arsenal fresh legs, and Brighton haven't got subs to make. So they've just been killed by that.
Yeah.
I don't think you can say the subs come on and suddenly the system works. I think it's more the fact that the subs have come on and Brighton don't have any subs.
Yeah. It's going to be something against the run of play. Well, Brighton are now making changes. Last roll of the dice for Vidosic.
And that is Heron on at Seike.
What a moment for Heron. If she managed to find an equaliser at the Emirates now.
I was going to say, I think it was I don't know how much she's played, but she started for Brighton on Wednesday against West Ham.
That's not a good sign.
On the right-hand side. Ball forwards, Catley cuts it out. To be fair, I take the Brighton side against, I think, a fairly strong West Ham team.
Well, yeah, West Ham still on the dreaded bagel. 0 points.
Bagel. I've heard it called a donut a lot. I've never heard bagel before.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
I don't
That's your argument.
Yeah. Liverpool also still on 0 points. Now we hope they can somehow change that tonight.
They should rub a ring. Rule.
Name circular items.
There's just got to be a specific circular item with a hole in the middle. It looks like a 0.
Yes.
Gay hoop. All sent forwards. Looking now for McLaughlin on the left-hand side. Can she make something happen for Brighton? Ball in.
Oh,
No one for Brighton in the box able to make contact with it.
Got to be better than that. She got 3 people on the edge and 1 in the penalty area, and she's decided to smash it in the area, but then loop it miles over the one player that is in the box. Van Domselaar, player of the match. That's probably fair.
Great save. But
Well, she's faced a lot, and she hasn't dropped the ball in the net this week.
I don't think that's the yardstick, though, is it? We haven't done anything terrible this week, so you get player of the match. Anna Daisy's run a better game than Van Domselaar. Well, to the left-hand side. Here come Arsenal. Mead. Looking for Laxenius. That's one back well by Hayes. 3 minutes left of the allotted additional period.
Into the 100 club now.
Lifted forwards.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think it. I mean, obviously, the BBC will give a player of the match award to Arsenal player. I really don't think it would be for me. Probably someone like Roll. Just think it had a really solid, impressive game. Arsenal haven't impressed. They've scored from an own goal. That's it. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's been flat. It's been a bit flat from both sides.
Yeah, but the thing is, Brighton have the excuse of they are not as strong as Arsenal, and they have so many injuries and obviously players out for ineligible players.
Overall,
that was so weird from Kelly.
That was a very McCabe-esque barge.
Oh yeah, but she did it against Man City as well.
But yeah, it's one of those. But the thing is, I think you don't expect Brighton to turn up at the Emirates and to play Arsenal off the pitch.
What is she doing?
And now it's given Brighton from nothing. It's given Brighton an opportunity to hook this ball into the penalty area.
Thumped into someone for no reason.
Minute and a half to go. This would be huge.
Dramatic.
Got to throw everyone in there. Eden and Dozy. Why is she not in there?
She probably has been. We haven't noticed.
There should be 10 Brighton players in that penalty area.
Taking it short. Ball swung in there. Good delivery. Van Domselaar punches it clear. No one on the edge. And it's offside flag as well.
That is poor for whoever is offside. At this point in the game, you've got to time your run.
They probably would have given it a foul on the goalkeeper anyway because of goalkeeper protection.
And Domselaar is where to get that. You can't be offside at this point.
I'd like to see a replay. Of course, we're not going to get that. We're going to get a replay that showed us nothing that happened.
That'll probably be that, though, you feel?
I thought it was more poor. There's no one on the edge of the box for Brighton.
Which is no,
spills out, and there should be players there.
Players.
Yeah.
Just...
Why defend the transition? It doesn't matter if they break away and try and score. Got to go for the goal. Reed. Gnaw down, tries to poke it through the lines. One back by Little. Played in behind for Blacksenius. And Dozy quick off her line. Misses everything. Forces Blacksenius wide. And it's blocked. Cleared away only as far as Kelly. And it will be an Arsenal corner.
Yeah, a bit messy. And Dozy as well back out of this because the last thing she needs is a really unnecessary red card.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those games. I think Brighton, with a full strength side, probably win this today.
Potentially.
Obviously, like Adjama and Kafaji can't play. Which I think who else is missing. But yeah, I thought they played quite well. They just lacked that sort of cutting edge.
Yeah.
I don't think Arsenal were good particularly.
This was Brighton at a 6 and Arsenal at a 4.
I don't think Brighton were that high, and they still
Yeah.
looked okay, and especially first half, they're really good. They're just fatigued early. That is the full-time whistle here at the Emirates. Arsenal 1, Brighton 0. Second consecutive game that we've streamed ends as 1-0. Let's not make it a triple, Man City and Liverpool. But we'll be back in a handful of minutes. We're supposed to be live in 3, probably more like 5. But yeah, we will be live very shortly for Liverpool versus Man City. Thank you guys very much, though, and we'll see you in a moment.